Hello everyone, I hope you're all having a great day today. Today I'm going to be painting with nail polish. I was clearing out my nail polish drawer thingy and I thought to myself, why throw it out if I can just try and paint with it? Try being the operative word here. I'm using my light table as my base just because nail polish is easier to clean on glass than it is on wood. And I have my selection of nail polishes, my sketch, a little tiny glass full of nail polish remover so that I can clean off brushes and blend, a couple of cotton rounds, and an eraser. Side note, my footage is really grainy and I don't know why, so sorry about that. I'm just going to jump right into it, and here I am starting out with this kind of taupey color, trying to do all the shadows that go on the skin instead of trying to go in with a like a single flat layer for everything and I keep piling it on. I wanted to see if I could blend things out, and for that I am going to be using some nail polish remover. For the first layer, I wanted to try and keep it simple and just go underneath all the places that could have like a little bit more shadow. So underneath the arms, under the clothes, under the necklace she's wearing, where her neck meets her head, her jaw, the sides of her face, stuff like that. Trying to keep it light-handed for now, trying not to go just ham on it and then have like this gigantic mess that I can't fix. I am also only using the brush that comes with the nail polish bottles, and oh my god, it is terrible. It's just not what I am here for. Those plasticky brushes that come with the kids watercolor sets, it's just like that, only worse, because with the watercolor sets you're working with really liquidy stuff, and here it's just viscous and thick and terrible. So here I am using this light purple, kind of like a lilac color, and I'm just applying it very sparingly and then blending it out with some nail polish remover. I'm actually really shocked on how well it blended out. I thought it would be harder, especially because I had to go back and forth cleaning off whatever was on the bristles and then dipping into the nail polish remover and then coming back in and try to blend it out before it dried out. It was, it had to work quickly, but I think it gives a really nice effect. It gives a really soft effect that I wasn't expecting from nail polish. Then I am adding a little bit of salmon on top of that to and give it a little bit more life, not to have it look so kind of gray and dead, and it's giving a little bit of blush, kind of like it's an actual person and not like a zombie working around. Doing this was really fun, but my nose suffered so much. By the end of it, I was just done. I was like, get me out of this room. I need to leave. I left all the windows open, I left the fan on, and then I left to let it air out because I couldn't handle it. So, please, well-ventilated area if you are curious enough to try and do this. You don't have to, because I already did, and you can just see how it works instead of having to sacrifice your nostrils for it. At this point, I was really kind of shocked at how well it looked, and I think that if I had used a different kind of brush, a softer one, it would have looked so much better. Now that I know how that blends out on the face, I'm going to go ahead and do that all over the skin parts of her. That sounded so strange. I'm just gonna go and fill in the rest of the skin. And I'm doing that by layering the lilac color and trying to blend it out, and then putting some of that salmon color on top. Since blending out things in the face worked so well, I thought I would try and blend out some of that purple underneath the yellow of her clothes, just to try and give it a little bit more depth. And then comes the yellow, and after I put it down, when I started laying it down, I realized it's a lot more opaque than I thought, especially for a yellow. Yellow usually has a little bit more of a transparency to it than this one had. I quickly had to come in with some nail polish remover, try to thin it out a little bit so that I didn't lose all of the shadows that I had just built. I still think they got a little lost. I would have liked to do it again over it, but then it would be too thick and the nail polish remover would seep into the yellow underneath. I thought it would create just a big mess, so I just left it like that. I did go over it with some non-diluted yellow to try and give it a little bit more color on the parts that I had diluted. Here I am going to do the background. My first idea was to try and spread the nail polish around as if for a water marble technique, and at first it didn't work out, but then I went to a separate piece of paper and tried it out. So here what I did is I masked out the picture of what I had already painted to protect it with some masking tape, and then I cut around it with an X-Acto knife. And after that I kind of soaked the paper with some nail polish remover as much as I could because it does evaporate pretty quickly, and then I was very generous with the amount of nail polish I put on top. It was just a mess, to be honest. I did the first layer and then I realized that I needed a lot more nail polish for it to distribute evenly, so I had to go back in and do a second layer of kind of the drips of nail polish. I actually ended using up an entire bottle of that green-ish nail polish that you see there. There's a lot of ish in that sentence. That was really fun. I'm not gonna lie. Pouring nail polish out of the bottle directly onto paper is so much fun because you're usually so careful to not let it spill. Then when you're like allowed to make a mess out of it, it's amazing. This part of the process was messy, to be honest. I removed the tape after. You have to remove the tape while the paint is still wet, otherwise you might rip the thing you painted because it dries over it. So when I ripped it up, it kind of dripped and there was this gigantic stain on the face. My beautiful, beautiful face that I worked so hard on and blended out so nicely. So I went in with a little bit of white nail polish to try and cover the stain that was left. It kind of worked. You can still see a little bit of it, but it's mostly gone. And now I am painting on the necklace. Using that tiny brush was so terrible, and my hand was super shaky here. I don't know why. It was so shaky. Probably because I was trying to hold it really above the paper so that I wouldn't touch the still wet background. But trying to get some sort of smooth line out of that tiny brush that had really thick black nail polish was a challenge. And then doing the eye, oh my god, the eye, oh dear, it was terrible in the sense that I was terrified. I'm not good at doing eyeliner, and this is kind of that, except nail polish, which is thicker, which is not a good thing when you're trying to do like really thin and detailed lines. I somehow managed to pull this eye off. The other eye, I think I don't show it, but I really, it was touch and go for a moment. You can totally see that I kind of messed up and did the line a little bit too thick on the outside, but that was because the brush kind of buckled on itself. Here I am just going over everything with the same color we started with mixed in with a tiny bit of black, just to give it a little bit more of a defined edge now that we have a background and we can do that. The paper did rip up a little bit when I took the tape off. I tried fixing it by putting a little bit of yellow nail polish under the part of the paper that was curling up. I also somehow forgot to do the eyebrows and started doing the hair. But at first in the thumbnail the hair was red, but after I did the background and it was so dark and already had this bunch of colors on it, I thought it would be best to leave it lighter. So I kind of did this white hair with some lilac shadows and the same color of nail polish as the beginning for the skin as the liner, trying to tie it in with the skin but still make it light enough that it popped against the background. Then I'm just doing a little bit of highlighting with some white nail polish here and there, the pupil of her eyes, a little bit around the hair, like giving her a little outline so that she stands out against the background a little more. And that is it. She is done. After that, after everything had properly dried, I did erase the tiny bit of the blue pencil you can see around her eyes and on the bottom, but I didn't want to do it right away in case anything wasn't as dry as it could be. I didn't want to ruin everything by trying to erase it too soon. Yeah, that is the end result. That was me painting with nail polish. Thank you so much for watching. I'll leave links to my social media below so you can check it out if you want to, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!